Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Episode 602. We're in the 600s. All in the Tree Tuesday. The boys are back. Let's go. I'm your boy MJ. What's good? Very pumped up to be back here with you guys on this live. It's been a minute. Been traveling. Been doing some things. All right. If this is your first time hanging out, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Let's go. Hit that like button. All right. Especially if you're a Phoenix reptile or Red Mountain herps lover. Hit that like button because it's about my boys tonight. All right. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Select all. You'll be reminded of every podcast 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. That's right. But if you listen to anything Trap Talk on audio platforms like Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave reviews on those platforms as well. I have a cricket in the background. Whatever, dude. But listen, I'm so excited. Listen, like I said, lots to talk about. We have Marshall Mendez and Bill Stiegel roundtable it tonight, talking about the projects that are cracking for 2025. But before we get into things, I want to say today, shout out today's sponsor, the Reptile Breeder Show happening in downtown Los Angeles, March 1st, thrown by KG&D of the Bomb Projects. This is going to be their second annual show, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there in person. I met so many amazing, awesome breeders that I've been knowing, but it's cool to see them all tighten up in a private, cool reptile show like this one right here. So again, mark your calendars. It's going to be going down. If you're in SoCal, best believe you should be pulling up to the Reptile Breeder Show happening in downtown Los Angeles, March 1st on a Saturday. Beautiful day. It's going to be cracking. Thank you so much, KG&D. Looking forward to tapping in with you guys here very shortly. Also want to say tonight's episode is brought to you by Brian Susan, Sundown Reptile, somebody I enjoy hanging out with over the weekend. I just got back from the Southeast Reptile Expo, as I was saying, and Brian Susan was one of the vendors there. Probably my favorite table. I mean, if Brian Susan's vending, it's going to be my favorite table. Why not? Are you kidding me? High-end geckos, high-end tree monitors. I'm just talking about top quality, true captive bred animals that this guy is working with. And if you go to sundownreptiles.com, you can see everything he has available. You can also check out all his work on Instagram. Very, very popular on Instagram. And rumor has it, he's starting a YouTube channel. That's right. So more announcements to come with that. Thank you so much, Brian Susan. For now, guys, go give him a follow. Find all the links in the description below. Also talk about one of my favorite chondro breeders in the game, and that's going to be Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. Please type in TX Chondros on Instagram. Give this man a follow. He puts on many, many other fellow reptile chondro keepers in the game. Probably some of the best. And Texas is no joke, man. Flexing Texas all day, every day. That's Mark Hager for sure. And if you go to texaschondros.com, you can see all his projects currently that he's working with. And I'm telling you, Mark's going to have a fire year this year, all right? So big things happening over at Texas Chondros. Go follow him on Instagram, like I said, TX Chondros. And you can find all the links in the description below, of course. Let's see. Who else is... Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Shout out to the #1 quail in the game. Highest quality in quail sent to your doorstep by my man Blake Exotic Feeders. Okay, anywhere from button quail all the way to extra large quail. Got to tell you right now, my freezer's taken care of because of this guy. All right, homegrown quail on his property, straight to your house. No third party, none of that stuff. Shout out to anyone out there who's implementing quail. You're a real one. You know the real deal. Shout out to Luke. Shoot, our previous guest talked about how he mainly uses quail, which is pretty cool to hear. But anyways, go to Blake Exotic Feeders on Instagram. All right, let him know that MJ sent you, and he'll take extra care of you. Shout out to all my trappers right there for supporting all my sponsors. You can find all the links to my sponsors in the description below. But I got one last sponsor to shout out, and that's, of course, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles, my favorite on YouTube when it comes to learning about really cool reptiles that you could keep in your collection. Awesome arboreal knowledge. This guy does it the best. I'm telling you, it's Gary Scavino. Go to GS Reptiles on Instagram as well. Go give him a follow. He's also on Facebook. And again, like, you cannot not subscribe to his YouTube channel. GS Reptiles on YouTube. So many of you guys come to me and thank me for putting you on game with GS Reptiles. So if you're just one of these people getting into it and you're trying to, you know, solve a lot of maybe self-asked questions about green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, dude, just go to GS Reptiles on YouTube and then come thank me later like everybody else does. All right, listen, enough is enough. If you're in the chats, what is good? All right, if you think tonight's episode's worth any super chats, please get the super chats up. And of course, I forgot to mention, if you're looking for exclusive content, okay, I'm going to be doing these really cool giveaways also on my Patreon. So if you want to tap in with some real ones, do me a favor, click the first link in the description below and join the Trap Talk Patreon family today. Awesome Discord, and there's an amazing Instagram group chat that you can tap in with some of the best longevity real deal keepers we have in this hobby, all part of the Trap family. So thank you so much for all the love and support. My Patreon members, you guys are my heart. And again, you guys are in for a treat, okay? It's been a long time. If not, I don't know when we've had Bill Stiegel, Marshall Mendez, and MJ just podcast. No guests. Do we need a guest? No, we don't. Shout out to all the guests that come on. We don't need one. Holy shit. A lot of things popping on this end, on Marshall's end, on Bill's end, and you guys are in for a treat. So do me a favor. Do what you got to do to get your mind right first and foremost. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. Episode 602, All in the Tree Tuesday with All in the Tree Boys. Coming at you right now. Let's go. Cheers.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
And we're live, episode 602. All in the Tree Boys. Finally get the episode. Finally, just us. Lots to talk about. What is happening?
Good evening.
What is up, Tuesday boys? We got a
How are
great
y'all?
bunch of bangers in the chat tonight. Great to see some really good people.
Yes.
Appreciate of that.
A lot of amazing people in the chats. Fresh from Atlanta, both me and Marshall, even though Marshall only had to drive back home. A little jealous of that. But man, I had a good time. And Bill said, why not open this up with our experience over the weekend? Bill had a little bit of FOMO, and I think he has a good reason to, because we had a good time, Marshall. So let's hear from you. What do you think of Bob's show?
Man, I thought it was amazing. Like the people that were there were just top notch. The show was run top notch. Everybody was nice. There was no lines. He could have put, I feel like he could have put more vendors in there if he wanted to, and crowded things up more. But there was felt like there was a lot of people there, but you weren't crowded. Some of these shows where you can't move down the aisles, or If you want to get in front of a table, there's like 3 people deep, 3 rows deep to get anywhere. It was nothing like that. So kudos to Bob and his team for putting on such a, we ran perfectly. Very impressive.
What was the size of the show? Like, give me an idea compared to like an NARBC or a big show like that.
I think he said there was 125-ish vendors, something like that, 150.
135
Okay.
vendors. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice spread. I will say it was like Marshall said, he could have easily maxed that place out, but Bob didn't want to do that. He's being more methodical about it, which is awesome. Like, I feel like he went a lot in with the venue that he had the show at. Dude, the venue was fucking baller. Like, super. Like, okay, we all know we miss Arlington. You know how nice Arlington was, Bill? Yeah. I would say it's like double nicer than Arlington, and Arlington was nice. Like, this shit was pimp. Okay. But on top of that, cleanest show I ever been at, as far as every vendor being like, holy shit, it's like, what a clean looking table. Like I feel like it was a professional show. Like, people who vend, people who are the best vendors at their show were all at this show, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would expect it to be heavily ball python presence.
Yeah,
it was the case.
It definitely was, but that wasn't an issue. I just feel like here's the thing. There was, from what I understand, there's a lot of other breeders spending money with other breeders. And so like everybody who I was talking to was happy. Sure, you would run into the one or two, like, yeah, I'm off to the corner and, not getting sales or something like that. But I was really surprised to hear all the feedback, even by Saturday. Like, by Saturday, I'm talking to Chad Holker and he's like, telling me what he did first thing Saturday morning. And I'm like, wow, it's a pretty good vibes here. You know what I'm saying? But
I didn't talk to anybody who was pissed, like you're saying, Yeah. Everybody was, obviously some did better than others. I saw some, pretty big sales. I didn't see them personally go down, but I heard about them and saw the animals Mark sold on the tables. But everyone that I did speak with said that they had sold, enough that they made the trip worth it for them. And just to echo what MJ said, man, the everyone who was there was no tables with sick animals on them. There was no tables with bullshit. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of ball pythons, but everything there was top notch, quality wise.
Oh, let me capitalize on this, and I fucking love Bob for this. But he really honed, he was hard on no bringing pets inside and bringing your own fucking monitors on your shoulder and shit like that. Like, it was a safe environment. Like, there was no cringy moments where you're like, holy shit, look what this dude's walking around with. Okay. And I really admired that. I was like, it just seemed like an overall well-educated show, vendor wise, just really good time. And of course, afters were amazing. I didn't really make it to Saturday afters. I did go Friday, but it was fun. I gotta tell you, bro. And shout out to Brian Tucson for the Venezuela dinner that we had. He wanted to go salsa dancing. I had to pass on that.
Oh God.
He might have stayed and done it. I don't know.
Marshall was thinking about it. I mean, I don't know. I was ready for bed. I'll tell you that much. I had the meat sweats. Pause. But
I did not go to bed, but no, I'm detoxing. I'm back on the waters during the week. After the past weekend, I got to clean my system out. Got to detox.
I wasn't counting the Miller Lights, but Crystal was. Dude. This guy, shout out to him. And I had a great time. And of course, guys, first and foremost, Bill hasn't yet because he's been busy. And also, congratulations to Bill, grandbaby number 2.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, it's been busy around here. We had a second grandson, so that means 4 days I took care of the 2-year-old, which was awesome, but a beating. Just absolutely loved it. We had a great time, but MJ, you'll relate to this. I had to get him up, get him ready for daycare, feed him, change his diaper, get him dressed. Of course, he threw a fit because he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay with Pops all day, and I had to drop him off, and so I had some tears. But we had a great time. But yeah, I certainly do have FOMO for missing out on that event. I want to hear about it from the beginning. MJ, you came in Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh yeah, shit. You want to talk about when I got in? Wednesday, it was.
I want to hear it all.
It was perfect. It was everything I dreamed of. I pull in. Marshall picks me up. Of course, we're bumping fish. We're en route to his place because I cannot wait for the round 2, like meaning the redo. I got fucking so many boos on my original vlog at Marshall's place because of the music selection. I will say the music was a little loud. Okay, so I was looking forward to redoing it, and I killed it. I got a lot of great feedback from it. So I was gonna say, if anyone hasn't yet, go to my other YouTube channel, the Trap Reptile Vlogs, and watch the redo Marshall Mendez Reptile Collection tour that I did. And Bill, make sure you catch that yourself.
I will. I told you this week I'm going to get to it. I haven't yet, but I will. I promise.
And I love, listen, you know, Marshall. It's not like Marshall's room changed much, but obviously he has stuff that's grown now. You know, and he does. You know, listen, as much as ball pythons were probably the most boring thing in that room, he had some fucking crazy ball python heat that not even my own people, but myself, I was very impressed. So, dude, Marshall got it going on over there. As we're going to talk about how he's got it going on currently with the damn babies that just hatched out. Why don't we get to that first and foremost, Marshall? How many babies have emerged? Can we get to how about we talk? We'll go clutch to clutch. Okay, let's talk about the first clutch that started pipping, because nothing pipped when I was there. It's a fucking bummer, but you come home and take it from there. What happened when you got home?
Yeah, so I got home, and so the clutches were laid one day apart. One was laid on December 26th, I believe, and the other was laid on December 27th. So I believe that put day 49 at Friday. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Anyway, so I got home on, when we left, because we left a day early. So we left on Thursday, and nothing was out. You could tell, when we did pull the eggs out and look at them, and you could tell some of them were, already, the ones that were healthy looked perfect, but there was already some that were super dried up. You know how they start shriveling in, and you think, there's no way there's a baby in there. Well, there was a few of those that we already, I kind of had already knew before we left, we're not gonna hatch for whatever reason. So I come home Sunday, and clutch 1 has started to hatch, and there's 3 or 4 out already. And then, pulled them, set them up, and then waited till the next morning and manually pipped the rest of them. And out of that clutch, there was, so I don't remember how many eggs were laid exactly, but the pictures that I took right before we left, there was 12 eggs, and it looks like I'm going to either end up with 8 or 9 babies from that clutch. Yeah, so that's the clutch that you're looking at right there. That's Versace is the sire. Calico Tiger Stripe female is the dam. The others, yeah. So,
what about the yellow? How do you feel about it? That's cool.
Versace throws yellows, depending on what he's bred with. The last, I haven't produced any in like the last maybe 6 years since the last time I produced a yellow. But it was cool, it's nice having a couple in there. And this clutch reminded me, I posted a picture on Instagram of another clutch. It was similar pairing, from, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And just the different looks that, come out of Versace, the really bright cherry red one that's in there. That's different clutch, but
different one. My bad.
Yeah.
Let's not jump ahead. Hold on 1 second. I don't want to get ahead real quick. All right. I'll pull, but keep talking, Marshall. I'm listening.
They're all the pictures from this clutch are in the second message that I sent.
I know. I was downloading ballistically. But I want to pull this one up here because this is like what I'm looking at right now. This is the shit. This is from the first clutch. No,
that's clutch number 2 also.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That came from the first section of pictures you sent me, just so you know.
Well, it was mixed up. But anyway.
All right, keep talking.
Yeah, so a lot of variations, some real dark with orange markings, some like the cherry red one that's got some kind of yellowish, smaller markings. There's some dark ones with light markings. There's yellow. There's one yellow that's got a real super heavy pattern with a lot of. It's got some kind of big, I don't know what you'd call them, big chunks down the back, but then like all around it, it's little tiny specks.
Yeah. All right, cool. Wow, at least I got something right. Jesus.
But You can pull up the picture that you had earlier. That was
Okay.
the one. That was the most heavily patterned one.
The one with the group, like the one that's laying with the other ones.
Yeah, it was an vermiculite still.
Here it is. This one.
No, it was coiled up. That's okay though. Yeah, so that one, obviously you can see the the two maroon ones, how, just how different they are. At first I thought that one was an albino. Looked at it and I was like, because I'm not expecting any albinos from these clutches, these pairings, but looked very similar to last year's albino. But yeah, that's the one. So if I don't know if you probably can't blow these pictures up, but the yellow right there, it's got a lot of what I call static around. There you go. Yeah, you can see how many how the small markings are, little specks all over.
Yeah, very busy.
That's insane looking.
Yeah, they weren't all like that. Some of them have. You can tell how along the big parts of the pattern along the back, it's kind of got like a little yellows, like a little yellow outline around them. On the other two, I believe that outline is a little bit wider, so there's less static on the sides and whatnot. But yeah, so that was clutch one, and looks like I'll have between either 8. There's one that's still in the egg. It hasn't come out yet. It is still alive. If it comes out, I'll have 9. Otherwise, I got 8 out of 12. So
Okay.
then,
Wait, real quick. Is this one right here a part of? Because you said you're talking about a cherry red one, and I wasn't sure if you're talking about this one. I didn't pull this one up. I don't think. Was this from the first or second clutch?
that's the same one. Yeah, that's the same cherry red one.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So okay. Before we get to clutch number 2, for the record, one more time, tell me how many are looking good as far as out the egg, perched, and how many?
All the ones that all the ones that are out are perched, and all the ones that are out hatched pretty much without trouble. There was one you can see. I think it might have actually been the cherry red one. You can see in one of those photos the umbilical cord was tied, had knotted itself off, but not around the snake. It had just kind of managed to tie itself in a knot on its own. Just the cord. So I like the vermiculite. I don't think I'll go back to no substrate again after this year. I think if anything, if I wish I would have paid kind of more attention to because I number all the eggs, but just wish I would have paid more attention to which ones had actually gone bad. I think a lot of them were that's actually clutch. That's the second clutch, but I think a lot of them that had gone bad were along the back side of the egg box, which is closer to the back wall of the incubator, which is where I was getting condensation on the front, and which tells me the front is a little bit cooler than the back of the box. So who knows if that had anything to do with why I didn't, why I lost some of them. But the ones that were dead, you cut them open and you could tell that the babies had stopped. The eggs died a week or 2 ago. Yeah, there was babies in there, but they were, underdeveloped, not fully colored, huge yolks, yolk sac still. So yeah. So that's actually clutch number 2. And those are all red.
All red, yeah.
Yeah, clutch number 2 is all red. And again, a couple of different looks. You got that one that's the, black and orange. You've got kind of the cherry red and orange. You've got the darker colors and with white pattern. And on that clutch, let's see, there was 24 that were still in the incubator before we left. And it looks like I'll end up with about 14 or 15 from that one, depending. There's still 2, I think, that haven't come out yet. So, yeah, if you blow that one up, you can kind of see some of the darker ones. Yeah, real dark. That one, the orange pattern on that one's not quite as bright as some of the other ones. But
it's a different kind of dark right here. This is interesting.
Yeah. One of those pictures has got one of them's like almost solid black, no pattern at all, or very little pattern. It would be in the first message that I sent. I think I just took those when I got home this evening.
The one in the egg?
No, it's not in the egg. it's in the box, but it's one of the it was in the first group of photos that I sent earlier before the show.
But it's with
kind of stretched out.
Yeah, okay, I think I found it. It's with a bunch of other ones, right?
Stretched out on the floor of the box.
I see it.
I just pulled it out of the incubator and stuck it in there when I got home, so it's still got vermiculite all over it. But you can kind of get an idea of it.
This probably isn't it, but I don't have a Jamie, so I'm working this by myself. So deal with it. Here, what about? Is this the one you're talking about? Probably not. But this is the same clutch we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's not it. But
I know the one you're talking about because I penciled my name on it.
Give me a second. Oh, here it is. Damn, this shit is wild looking. Yeah, this says actually Bill Stiegel, and I could read it. I see a few MJs though. All right, check it out.
Everybody, man, like you guys are like the third people today that have seen their name in the pattern on one of these babies.
That's bizarre.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's my boy. There's my boy right there.
So you can see those are kind of more typical. The two on the floor are the ones that are at the bottom of the frame there with the white pattern instead of the orange, but the one that's kind of going across. Yeah, can you blow that up? There you go. Yeah. Very, very little pattern. That's for chunks of vermiculite that you're seeing on it.
Wow.
Very cool.
So overall, not the results I was, hoping for. Of course, when you start off with close to 40 eggs, you hope you're going to end up with 40 babies. That's like the dream scenario, but I'm not complaining. This is more than, this. I'm still going to have my hands full with what, 25-ish babies, 24 babies, something like that. Which is, more than I've produced, probably since I've moved into this new facility for over the last 4 years. So yeah, I'm not complaining. I do think I'll try to organize them a little differently in the egg box next year, just to see if maybe the ones in the back that were, that died early on, maybe was because they were a little bit warmer. I ran them at 87.5 for most of incubation. And then the last week or so, I turned it down to like 87, 86.5. And by the time we left on Thursday, I'd taken them down to 86.0. I'm
going to stop you right there, Marshall. When I was at your place, it was already 87 something. And I was like, why don't you cool it down?
You can't, I tell you can't go by the thermostat. You got to look at
you told me it was 87. That's what came out of your mouth. I wasn't looking at your thermostat. That's what you told me. You said it was 87.1 or something like that. And I was like, why don't you bump it down? Remember?
I do remember, but I also had just opened the incubator too. So when my incubator, I turned it down the Sunday before you got here from 87.5 to 87, and then a little bit lower. But every time you open the incubator, it spikes, not much, but it'll spike a degree or half a degree for an hour or two, and then it goes back to the set point.
I think it's badass that you did it with the eggs buried in the vermiculite. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, man. I did about a 90%, 90-to-1 ratio. So I think it was 500 grams of vermiculite and 450 of water. So yeah, super easy.
Are you gonna measure it like Rob next time? From Canova?
Yeah, if it was ball pythons, maybe, but not for these guys.
Yeah, I think what helped also, I think what was a good idea, how big your egg box was. That was a pretty big egg box. I was pretty like, I didn't think it was going to be that spacious. But, that
was a tip from Ryan to use a large egg box, which is a good thing. And then,
how big, like roughly? Are you talking bigger than
like a full pan cano, which is basically like 2 of the 5-gallon ones together, but this one, like 2 of the 5-gallon Cambros together.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to.
I'm sorry, not 5-gallon Cambros. 2 of the half-pan Cambros, which is what I've used for like a ball python clutch.
It's pretty big, Bill. That's what she said. So yeah, congratulations on that, Marshall. So let me ask you before we get to Bill. I have to ask you, like, what's going to be your go-to as far as feeding? Are you going to wait for them to shed? How many weeks are you going to wait? What do you feel comfortable with?
I'm going to get them set up here probably tomorrow. I want to wait for all of them to hatch out and then get a couple of, get some nicer full clutch photos of all of them perched up together. And then I'll start separating them. And then, I may offer something before the end of the week. I may thaw out 2 or 3 pinkies. I've never had great luck with it, so I usually just don't try, just because of the low success rate. But if I thaw out 2 or 3 and, I'm not going to sit there and spend 20 minutes on each one, but I may go and, tease them a little bit, see what happens, see if I can get 2 or 3 meals in down in between all of them.
Pre-shed.
So I'll try that. Yeah, pre-shed. I'll just, like I said, I'm not gonna stress them out too much, but I may give it a shot. And then if they don't eat, then I won't mess with them again until after they shed, and maybe like a several days to a week after that. I'll start off with chick scented pinks like always, and then I'll try to have the chicken gizzards this year. For any that won't eat, or rat tail. The rat tail saved me with the albino last year.
Yeah.
So even if it's just to get something down their throat for the first meal or two, I'll got that trick in my back pocket now. So hopefully between that and the chicken gizzard and chick scented pinks, we'll see how it goes.
You don't think you've lost your touch, do you, establishing neos?
I hope not. We're about to find out.
I tell you, when I start every year, it's almost like I'm starting over. It's like,
yeah, I agree.
You have to learn every one of those neos all over again, and that's the exciting part, the fun part. I'm not much of a note taker, but when I'm feeding, I take pretty good notes on every baby about how they respond to teasing, or how they respond if they're going to strike or not strike. So I really do feel like, and I'm doing it every year, that it's kind of like relearning all over again. It's kind of fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, you never know what each.
No, go ahead, Marshall.
I was going to say, you never know what each individual is going to want or take. So yeah, I have my own little shorthand, that I put it all on the sticky note on their cage, or on their tub. If it's day, night, if it's chick scented, if it's whatever. I just put little marks, and then I'll know for the next time what they responded to the best.
You'll have some that'll be chronic droppers. I record that. They drop 1, they drop 2, they drop 3. Just all sorts of little things that you figure out that are important. To note for the next time.
Yeah.
Shit, I would love to just see a strike. Striking's good to me. If I can see a strike, I know we're at least on the right first step. It's the ones that don't strike. Those are the ones that fucking scaredy cat. Yeah.
It'll be fun to see your progress here. And obviously we'll be getting weekly updates on how many ate, or how many this week ate that hadn't eaten for the first time. All that stuff's going to be fun and exciting, and I look forward to hearing about it.
Fuck yeah, me too.
I'm psyched. I'm kind of just on the fence now. I had some pairs that I've been throwing together, and now with 25, I'm like, do I even want to try? Do I want to try more?
Yeah, do it.
Push it, Marshall. Push it.
No, because I know your hatch rate could be better, even though you did really well. I think you could do better. I really do. I have a good feeling you could even do even better. Get eggs. Get more eggs. Come on.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's just going to be a matter of, do I want to take care of them? I'm already thinking, I'm going to go. I did 10 ball clutches last year. I may just go 5 this year, if that.
Woo! Dang. We even said on the vlog that you might be, 75% or so is going to be, hitting the road here soon. I don't know.
Yeah, they are. They are for sure. I just, even the ones that I want to keep, it's almost like, I almost just want to reset on the balls there for a while,
Damn. Oh, that is gonna lead it to you right now, Bill. How you feeling right now so far? Obviously, your season's not over. Things are, I guess you would say that you're in the thick of it right now, right? As far as what's going for you. Why don't you let us know what's happening, Bill?
Yeah, definitely in the thick of it. We talked last time. I had a pretty poor start to the season. Well, I kind of take that officially. My first clutch was a clutch that was a split clutch up at Buddy's, and that clutch is doing great. It's just a couple of weeks away from hatching. I think he's got 15 babies up there.
That's great.
That's the Nigeria clutch. If you go down a little bit more, MJ, I loaded all of the parents that I'm currently pairing or already have babies from, and the first clutch. So that one in the very black, there you go. So that's a sickness male that's up at Buddy's. He's had it up there really ever since it's hatched. This is the second year that's it's produced for him. It threw some killer neos 2 years ago. Didn't go last year, but it went this year, and he bred it to a really nice female. It'll probably be the next picture. It's a calico. She's on eggs, yeah. So that's Buddy's WBP 1901.1. That's a calico animal that's got lineage back to Calico Jr. in the computer chondro.
There's a repeat pairing, Bill?
No, it was a different female than from 2 years ago.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see the difference in the babies, but I've got really high hopes for what they're going to look like based on what he threw his first year. So that was the first pairing. If you look at the animal, the really dark animal there in the middle, that's Contagion. And unfortunately, he's the one that bred. I had 15 great eggs from him, and all of them went bad. We talked about it last week through probably an incubation error on my part. So I ended up with one sole survivor from that clutch that just had its first shed. So, again, not off to a great start there, but a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. The animal that's just to the
next clutch do, Bill?
Well, I've got two clutches in the incubator now. This is going to be a great one. That's Pathogen. That's the sister to Outbreak, and she's a sickness baby, and she was bred to Freight Train. I've got 15 eggs in the incubator, a couple weeks down on that pairing. Freight Train is the animal. That's the John Irby Soul Train Striptease. He has thrown some incredible babies. That's a Freight Train right there. So he's actually sired two clutches this year, both of them to sickness female offspring. One of them Pathogen, and then the other one who's just had she's in her post-ovulation shed now. She's a repeat pairing. That's Outbreak. And Freight Train Outbreak's up there. Where is Out? I don't know if I don't think I posted a picture. I guess I didn't send you a picture of Outbreak.
Well, there she is, ovulating.
Yeah, that's her ovulating this year. So, super excited about that pairing. Fingers crossed that she goes along. She looks great.
That's crazy. That's a great pairing.
Yeah, it was just phenomenal. I posted a picture. Bill Hoffman has an animal from that pairing last year, MJ. Now go up a little bit. Go up a little to the left of the blue, that one right there. Yeah. So that's a baby from the initial pairing last year. I have two from that pairing here, but neither one of them have started to change yet. So I'm super excited about that pairing as well. And then if you if you stop right there, so the real bright blue girl, that's Cyanosis, and she laid 11 eggs. That was a joint pairing between myself and Alex. So he's got a male called Diablo Jr. That's a blue line melanistic lineage animal, and that's Diablo. So he sired that. We've got 11 eggs in the incubator cooking now.
That's a yellow neonate, right?
That was red.
That's red? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a red neo. So we're excited to have that in the works. The next pairing was Scarface, is that yellow animal in the middle there. Yeah. He sired a clutch 2 years ago. He's what we think is a Kofiau locality type. And He bred, who did he breed? I wrote some notes down. Oh,
Camo?
he bred Camo. Yeah, he bred Camo, and she's in her nest box now. We ultrasounded her a couple of days ago, and she looks like have, probably 10 or 12 good eggs in her. And
Wow.
she's in the nest box now. Should lay any day.
So you currently have how
I
many?
like that one.
You currently have how many in the incubator right now, Bill?
2 clutches here, and then the clutch up at Buddy's.
Okay. And so 2 to come. You're 2 to expect to lay, right? Or 3 to expect to lay right now?
3 more expected to lay. We've got Camo that should lay. Should have Outbreak, who's ovulated.
Okay, Outbreak. Yeah.
And then Cyanosis.
So okay, Bill, I know you take any of these, but which one is like all right, Snake Gods, if you could give me one clutch, this is the one I want. What's the biggest one for you at all these?
Probably if you go a little further, Sickness 2.0 is up there in the very top right.
Oh my Lord.
So Sickness 2.0 bred Mountain Drew, who is right next. If you look at the picture right next, Mountain Drew. And Mountain Drew produced some incredible babies with Freight Train a couple of years ago, but I had a lot of deformities with that pairing. I had half the clutch prolapsed. I've got an animal with a skin fold from that clutch, so I didn't repeat that pairing. So I put her with Sickness 2.0, and she's off food right now and moving in the right direction. So, keep our fingers crossed with that.
This is nuts. This is just nuts.
Yeah, that thing is sick.
Yeah, it's really, that's a Jaeger biscuit animal right there. So yeah, super excited about that, and super excited about both the Freight Train clutches, because both the Freight Train clutches were bred to Sickness females. So, again, we all know, we don't count our chondros before they hatch. But potentially some good stuff coming down the road.
So as far as the amount of clutches that you're still possibly at bat hitting here, how many are you looking at, Bill, if it all goes your way?
Well, like 7 right now.
Right.
But one of the clutches is gone, essentially gone, other than the one Neo that's left. So potentially still 6 good clutches in the works.
So let's talk about how you feel right now with the eggs cooking. Obviously, I feel like your biggest learning fucking curve this year was the egg box that you changed to now. But do you feeling good about the eggs cooking now? And do you feel like your incubator's, in a place where you could go to bed at night and have to wake up in the middle of the night and shit?
Well, after getting the beating that I took on that first clutch here, I'm a little more on edge. But we talked about it last week. I made some changes that I think were appropriate, and it's early, but the eggs look good. I'm real happy with the way the box is settled in, and the humidity's in there great. And I think I've fixed the problem. We'll see here in 4 or 5 weeks.
So what did you switch to?
I switched to a model that Steven Saltzman had used, and it's a Cambro tub, probably like 15, 16 quart. But I think the big difference is my tub was fine. My problem was too much airflow through the lid. And so the lids that I have now are plastic, pressed down, sealable. I mean, there will be no airflow in that tub until I'm ready for there to be airflow in the tub. So, I'm optimistic about that. They more match my old boxes that I had much greater incubation success, in.
Does it look about right, Bill?
Yep, that looks it. Yep. I think that's the box. Yeah. And those will come. I got them on a site called the Webstront.
Yeah, that's where I get mine.
Yeah.
Is that not the same size tub? That's the same size tub that goes in like a Focus Cube Hanger 6, isn't it?
I think it's a little different. So maybe it's not that exact one, but it looks pretty close to that. I don't know if those ones that go in the hanger come with a lid that
you can get them. Yeah, they come in all different. That's what the Cambro stuff. You can mix and match the lids, and they make kind of the 3 or 4 different lids, and they make them for every size.
Okay. Well,
Or
yeah.
you get sim containers. I don't know. Try it out. Fucking, I love sim containers, dude. I don't know why none of you guys get sim containers. Like, not even a sponsor. I'm just saying, sim containers are awesome.
I mean,
Bill never tried. Bill, I think you did try them, right, Bill? You just didn't like them.
I know I have not. I have not tried them. I would try them, but you just. I think there's a lot of different ways you can do this successfully. I unfortunately just when I switched boxes picked an inappropriate box, and I think there's a lot of good boxes and good ways you can do it, and so I have nothing against the sim containers. I've heard people have had good success, but I just reached out to somebody. Saltzman's had incredible hatch success. He's like 95% hatch rate on his last 4 or 5 clutches.
Yeah, Saltzman's on fire.
He's on fire, and that's kind of a cool thing. Like an old guy like me, right, reaching out to Steven Saltzman, who I like to feel like I had some part in his mentorship coming up, and and now I go back and I go to something that he's using. So I think that's kind of cool.
That's all I want Marshall to recognize when I said lower the temps. That's all I want. Is this a little bit of like MJ?
I was already lowering them. You convinced me to lower them another half a degree.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm incubating at 87.5, and I will decrease my temps as well. Although I had 10 years of success of not decreasing my temps and just straight baking at 87.5. But I will decrease my temps probably, starting around day 40, maybe even a little sooner, go to 87, then 86.5. And I'm
definitely team substrate in the egg box from now on. I'll never go back to over water ever again, personally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go with what you're comfortable with and what and a lot of green tree pythons have been incubated using both methods successfully. What
Saltzman does over water? Correct me if I'm wrong or not.
He does over water with just a very small amount of perlite in the mix, and that is just to prevent splash from the water. And that's what I did this time. I just put a very small amount of perlite in there. It just looks like soup, perlite soup. But I'm essentially over water.
Yeah. But Marshall, you're not ever going to switch your technique from here on out as far as how you cook these eggs. You're going to put them directly in the substrate.
I don't think so. When I started thinking about it, it was like, man, I had such good luck the first 4 or 5 years. I did them all on vermiculite, and then I really don't know why I switched, other than that just seemed to be the thing everybody was doing, and it works. It worked fine for me for mini clutches, but I don't know if it was a combination of the last couple of years just putting too many eggs in a small box with, no flow. But it seemed like I've been it seems like I've had the same kind of problems with the eggs desiccating, not getting enough moisture, and just, drying out. And this time, some of the eggs in the second clutch in particular, they were so they'd started to, some of them had started to cave in, but I had some other ones that were so I don't know what the word is. It's turgid when they're swelled up.
Yeah.
I couldn't
almost like tense, right?
Mm.
Yeah, just more like kind of blown up, there was so much moisture in them that I couldn't even pinch the shell to do the little snip. Well, I had to just kind of nick it. And as soon as I did, the clear egg fluid started just pouring out of them.
How do those babies do
they all did great.
Yeah. See, I would rather see that than the opposite.
Same. Yeah, same. And it's been forever since I've seen that. It's always been, you cut them open and it's like, yeah, it's just kind of sticky in there. And I mean, it's not dry, but it's not like, it's
like
I don't know.
It's like cooked. That's what it is. That all that yolk is basically cooked. Because from what I've noticed with those eggs, that's where I see the fully developed neo in there, either with its head tucked into the yolk or something weird where that you could have sworn that snake wanted to come out and then it just didn't come out. I feel like that's that whole dehydration thing in the egg that
it's either cooked or it's dehydrated.
Either one.
Right.
Both are going to
Isn't dehydration a form of cooking? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, you could incubate those things at 84 degrees, but if you have too much airflow and they get too dried out, you're still going to have the same outcome.
Yeah, there's a definitely time and place for that airflow, and I don't know, like also with the temps being dropped, I feel like I see. The thing is, I can't really talk much because I've only basing off this one last clutch that I had, and so you need fucking numbers to really kind of back up any theory. And we all know how every clutch, just like how every Neo's different, every clutch is different, right, Bill? Like
I think so.
You don't know what the fuck you're gonna get, and you have eggs that are just solid out of the female, right? Like you have, and I finally saw that. Like I saw what good, well-veined looking eggs look like, and then you have eggs that you're like, I don't know, what the fuck's gonna happen with these, So I just, like I said, getting good eggs is obviously the aim for thing, but I feel like incubation is everything, and that's one thing I do know comes with time as far as getting dialed in. And even like Bill, like what you're saying, like how many years in the game, and here you are like readjusting mid-season, which is probably going to help you a lot. You're probably going to save your season by doing this. So
yeah, I think like I said, if I would have learned the lesson, because even last year I didn't have the success rate that I had in the past. I had one clutch, 15 out of 15, in these boxes that I was using. And then a clutch right next to it, I had a 50% hatch rate. So I didn't really think about it until this year when it happened again. I go, okay, I got to change something. So, time will tell. I hope to be coming back here, in 6 weeks and saying, hey, that was definitely the issue. This next 2, 3, 4 clutches, hatch with a much better rate and all that, but only time will tell.
So again, just to confirm, you didn't do anything with the temps. You just fixed the egg box, and you're in a sense, you're not adjusting anything temp wise, right?
Not really. No. I mean, I dropped the temps on the clutch that ultimately failed. I dropped the temps. Like we talked about, like Marshall had done and you've done, but it didn't matter. By then it's such a long, slow process. You go in and you peek at these eggs every day. You're not opening the lid, but you're looking at them. And over that 7-week period, when you're looking at them every day, it's kind of like when you look at anything once, and then if you're looking at it every day, as opposed to looking at it once and then looking at it at the very end, you go, wow, those eggs look a lot different. But if you're looking at them every day and they slowly change, it kind of creeps up on you until all of a sudden you're a week away from incubation and you go, fuck, these eggs look terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of what happened.
I've been talking a lot. Ryan Young helped me a lot with going back to vermiculite and just, the egg box and just the mix, I've leaned on him pretty heavily throughout this process just because I'd been so long. And luckily I found some of my old notes, which I shared with you guys before about what I did, but, for my first clutch. But him and I have been talking a lot, the last couple of weeks about it. And he's brought up some really interesting points about airflow and, think about a maternally incubated clutch. So you've got, some eggs are on the outside of the, outside of the mass. Some are in the middle with eggs stuck to them on every side, plus the mom coiled around them. They're probably not getting a whole lot of airflow in those situations. And then, can an egg even absorb moisture through respiration, or does it have to be in contact with water? I don't think we know the answer to that.
That's why we need to get Dale DiNardo on. MJ, I don't know if you had a chance to reach out and touch base with him.
I need to send that email. I got the email. I need to send it. I'll do it tonight.
Yeah, he'll be. I think he'd be a great guest to have on here. That's his work. He's a PhD in Python egg incubation. That's all of his work is not studied around Greetrine Python egg incubation, but I think he'd be a great resource to have on.
And I don't know, to back up Marshall's point, a lot of the times we're thinking, I guess these green tree pythons that are coiled around eggs in the wild could be in semi-open areas, but for the most part, probably not. They're probably hunkered down or like in a nesting area where like it's even more like less ventilated, on top of them being coiled over the eggs. I feel like, So, but you know, obviously, I feel like there's a point where she feels those eggs warming up and she starts to loosen up or something. I mean, who really knows? But I guarantee there's a timing where even the mom knows, you know, they need to breathe or some shit. You know, just feeling the eggs. You know, I mean, if they're able to reserve heat within their body to keep an egg warm, they could definitely feel the eggs getting too warm and like fucking start to like loosen up and stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's like, fuck, there's not much documentation of us finding a chondro maternally, like obviously hatching out eggs in the wild. Like, where the fuck do you ever see shit like that? You don't see it.
I don't know that I've ever seen a photo of
That's
it.
nuts.
I could
like,
be wrong, but
what would be interesting is like documentation on what the hatch rate is for these in the wild doing what they're doing, which, you know, we got to understand too, like the weather that sometimes could really fuck a lot of things up for these animals, you know, hatching in the wild. So we got to, I guess, really filter in a lot of factors here, but I don't know, man. I know overall from my experience, you know, even though it's nothing compared to you guys, cooler's better with the chondros. I feel like it doesn't need to be as warm as we once thought it needed to be.
Yeah, I think historically they have, you know, I think when the guys, Rico and Trooper and those guys, they were incubating at even warmer temperatures. You know, they were incubating at
Didn't Maxwell say 90 in his book or something like that? Like, it was high. I thought Maxwell.
Well, you used to do the 1-5-1 method where you would cook them pretty low for the first week, and then for the middle 5 weeks, you would bump it up to like, you know, 88.5. I don't remember what the numbers were at the time, but it was like you start them off at 80, say 87, 87.5. Then during the middle 5 weeks of incubation, you'd bump it up to 88, 88.5, and then drop it down again at the end. And that was based off of von Meerhoff studies, they were.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. They measured maternally incubated egg mass. So they measured the temperatures, and that's how they got that protocol of starting low and warming up and then cooling down, because that's what they were doing in maternal incubation. You know, when they were measuring the egg masses.
Yeah, but then again, here we are talking about stuff that's in captivity now too. You know, I think it's just a different ball game. I don't know. I think that's why it's always like, I feel like the biggest fucking problem keepers had or breeders had up to this point was always trying to just mimic the wild. And that's wild to me, because at the end of the day, like, they're not in the wild. They're here. They're in America. They're not like, and they're going to adapt to what's happening here with us, not what's happening in fucking PNG. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I think the wild is a great place to start.
Right.
But you're right. I think, you know, it always brings me back when Keith McPeak was talking about when they were bringing in blood pythons, you know, in the wild, those things lived in the swamp. So when they got them in captivity, they kept them wet. You know, they just wet all the time. And they ran into all sorts of problems, you know, keeping them too wet. And they figured out, well, you don't have to keep these things wet, you know, just because they're wet in the wild. So I think it's a good place, you know, studying them in nature is a good place to start. But I definitely think making changes and, you know, and alteration in the captive environment is important.
What's crazy to me is I forgot, like, what majority ball python keepers who've been doing this for a while, they keep their room at 80 all the time. And that's crazy to me. Like, cause my room does get up to 80, but it definitely drops down in the 70s. And remember we were at Justin's Marshall, and that shit was like 80, like didn't fucking move an inch, like 80 the whole time. Remember that?
80 plus a warm spot.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, I talked to him. He said that he's air conditioning his building 365 days a year, just from the heat that the racks produce. So he doesn't, you know, he is running an ambient of whatever he said, 80 in the room, but then he also gives every level has got heat tape on it with a warm spot. But think about those baby racks that he has with, you know, I don't know if those have back heat or belly heat, but you know,
I think they're belly.
I was going to say my room is the same way. The ambient heat that just from having all of the ball python racks in my room, I mean, I'm running the air conditioning continuously, except in the deadest cold. You know, if it's 60 degrees here, I'm running the air conditioning in that room. Damn. You know, it has to get down to in the 40s before my heat kicks on to get the room to 75.
Yeah, I'm on some Florida shit, man. Like I'm starting to figure out in San Diego, I don't need to do all that if I know how to perfectly read the what's going on outside. Like, trust me, there's times I do have to turn my AC on, but it's not much. Especially this time of year, it stays about low 70s. I feel like right now weather's perfect because I could open up my door. I mean, yeah, it sucks my humidity out, but I mean, I guess it all depends where you're at. You know, I feel like extreme weather, like you don't have a choice but to have a controlled room because you know where you live. And that's when shit gets dicey. That's why I feel like I don't want to move from San Diego because I just like, this is my weather. I love it. Like, and once you like go to a place with extreme seasons, that's when shit gets tricky. You know what I mean? And like, you know, fucking goddamn generators going out and just et cetera, et cetera. Like, I think I've only had to use a generator twice in the 8 years I've kept reptiles, knock on wood. Now I'm gonna have to use one soon. God damn it.
We talk about it all the time. There's so many potential pitfalls in this thing. You know, all it takes is 2 bad days, you know, two bad days of, you know, you have extreme weather and your generator goes out or your electricity goes out. Just takes 2 days and you're done.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. All you think about it, you know, it's like, so you can't really insure anything. I mean, you can. I think it's, you know, prohibitively expensive. So, I mean, all you can do is just, you know, try to have backups on backups and just, you know,
backup on the backup. That's all you can do. Plan for as much as you can.
negative 4 degrees. Bless this guy's heart. Dallas, I am so sorry.
Ryan's probably the same.
Dude, Ryan Young. Yeah, Ryan Young. Just anytime he posts his weather, I'm outside with no shirt on doing water changes at 6 a.m. Just bumping fish. You know what I'm saying? Having the time of my life. But I just can't do that cold, man. Like I really can't. I just like maybe go visit it, but to live there, that's what I'm saying. It's once you live in a place like where I live, it's hard to leave it, no matter what Eugene Bissett has to say. You got to stick it out, you know. Sorry, Eugene. Hey, but can I just go back to Marshall's place and how much I do love his house, dude? I showered in his remodeled bathroom, the Emerald. I mean, what would you call that bathroom? It was so sick. You have a name for it?
No, not really. I mean, it's the primary bathroom in the primary room.
Marshall, okay, I already know for sure I'm gonna go back to Marshall's place at some point. You have to come with me next time, Bill. Like we at least when we go to Justin's next time, we should go to Marshall's. Then from Marshall's place, go to Justin's. But I would really want to experience Marshall's place with you. I think that'd be sick. And
it's nice, you know, that we'll be able to tie in Bob Vu's show. You know, it's always great when you can tie in a trip to a show. That always makes
I won't miss Bob's show again. They think they've already announced the next dates, like August the
10th, my birthday. It's on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
How far is that show from you, Marshall, drive wise?
2 hours.
Nah, it's a little. The shit's like 2.5.
All right. Well, still that's
two and a half. Between 2.5 and 3 by the time you stop and everything. But it's not bad at all.
Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
I don't want to be a downer, but Atlanta traffic does suck.
Yeah, it took us 4 hours to get to Justin's because of which should have, you know, traffic added probably 45 minutes to the trip. Atlanta traffic's terrible.
So what was get back to the trip? So you guys, MJ, you went there Wednesday, and then you went to Justin's. What on?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Justin's.
My bad. Yeah. Okay. So we did the thing Wednesday. Well, we did a lot of vlogging Wednesday. I finished up some stuff Thursday. Shout out to Maddox.
Well, hang on though. You forgot something on Thursday. You said told you, you know, we couldn't leave on Thursday until we cleaned the rodents because you know my son was going to be out, and you're like, oh yeah, no problem, man. I'll come out there and help you guys. So Maddox and I go out there 8 o'clock, you know, about 9:15, MJ strolls down wearing his freaking like, you know, velvet tracksuit with a coffee. He's like, oh, you guys got it, man. Perfect. I'm going back in.
Shocking.
Dude, I was over there fucking making goddamn magic happen with the vlogs. What are you talking about, bro? I was doing work. Actually, I went live for about a good 30 minutes, and I actually did record you guys working. Dude, it looks so miserable out there. I'm not gonna lie. And I didn't, you know what? If you would have had the proper attire for me. Like I didn't have rain boots. I'm not trying to get my clothes wet and get pneumonia. So the whole trip is fucking ruined, Marshall. If you expect me to do hard labor, you got to have like the right kind of gear, bro. And
why do you need rain boots to clean roads?
Rain. It was like a hurricane or what was going on?
No bullshit. It was not. The night before was wet.
It
was not raining while we were cleaning.
It was mini helling. It was, swear to God, it was not. It was like intense, and I felt bad for his son because his son was like going through it, and so it was like. But either way, they did it. It was great, and then we had a good time from when we went to wait. What did we eat on the way to? Oh, we had Whataburger, dude.
Had Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Had barbecue the first night, and then found a Whataburger, and then
how does that Alabama Whataburger compare to the Texas Whataburger?
It's way better.
I don't know. It doesn't smack the same, Bill. I won't.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, it does. Like I didn't order it at Marshall's house late at night. I ordered it late at night at your house. So that's kind of there's that. You know what I mean? Something about Whataburger by Bill's house that just it's next level. At midnight. No, but yeah, then we went to Justin's, right? And man, that was I mean, dude. Okay,
so that was Friday. You went to Justin's on Friday.
Yeah, Thursday. We went over. Yeah, Thursday midday. We went over to Justin's. Got to Justin's at like 3:34, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then first thing we did was go to his garage. Oh my God, bro! The cars, that garage. What did you think of that, Marshall? That was the first thing Marshall. I think Marshall was more excited for the garage than anything else.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Another fellow car geek. Him and I geeked out about cars for a bit. Man, he's just, you can't say enough good stuff about him. Just ball pythons are not our thing necessarily that we talk about a lot on the show. But man, the way he's got, no matter what kind of snakes you're into or what kind of herps you're into, you can learn a lot from him. Just the way he has his operation set up. The way he's got it just dialed in, he's got the way he splits up the work amongst his employees to make sure that everything is running like it should. I mean, he runs an extremely tight ship over there, man. It's impressive. It's
more impressive than last time, Bill, because even then it was still like, Chase was doing his thing, but now it's like it's prestige, man. Like it's no joke. Like they don't miss any steps over there. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, we walked in for the first time on Thursday morning, and it's like Thursday morning at 9, and it wasn't dirty when we were in there on whatever. No, it was Friday morning. The place was immaculate on Thursday night, but we go in there Friday morning. Rob's mopping the floor. It's like, man,
yeah,
dude, it was awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's just immaculate, and just the number of snakes that are in there, and the way he's got them organized, and the way, I mean, it's badass. My hat's off to him for what he's been able to do.
So you spent the night over there Thursday night, and then you went back Friday to his place?
No, we stayed at a hotel.
Yeah, but you were at his place Thursday afternoon, and then you were back Friday.
We slept at his house. We slept on his property, and so we woke up at Justin's house. We went to go have coffee. Shout out to Joy. His whole family's fucking. We talk about Justin, but his family is next level, dude. His family is they're like a superhero family. They're all just amazing. I had some coffee with them Friday morning. Took our time and just kind of saw them doing the thing. Me and Marshall finished up another vlog that we were doing, and then it was we just took our time over to Bob's show Friday. But it was really cool to see. Can I share the biggest thing I learned from Justin on this trip? You guys, has nothing to do with ball pythons either. But obviously I was admiring Justin's garage and went up to his office and sat down in his chair. You think, I don't know, somebody at his level would have a real comfortable chair, like something baller, right? Mind you, this thing is hard as rock. I sit in this chair and it's like you're sitting on concrete, and I'm like, what the hell is this? You could do a little better on the chair, buddy. And so, here, we're walking by his office, and I'm like, Justin, real quick, why do you have this chair? It's probably one of the most uncomfortable chairs I ever sat in. He's like, yeah, that's exactly why I have it. So because I'm not getting too comfortable while I'm working. I don't like being comfortable when I work. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm more focused if I'm not comfortable. And I'm like, holy shit. I was like, what about when your back hurts? He's like, well, if your back hurts, you've been sitting down for too long. I was like, whoa, that was mind blowing. And so, yeah, that's what I learned from Justin. He doesn't like comfortable furniture in the office.
It's like you don't want to have a guest bed that's too comfortable, right? You want a guest bed that after the second night, people are like, God damn, my back's killing me. I got to get out of here.
Is that why you put people in the air mattress upstairs?
You better believe it.
Dude, because the bed I sleep on that bills, I don't want to wake up. It is so comfortable. I levitate. I love it.
You sleep in a good bed.
I sleep in a good bed. Okay, listen, I got to ask you guys. Well, Marshall, one thing I want to bring up tonight is the adjustment that you talked about on the show before. But I'm curious if you're going to go into it with the same approach. Feeding. Can we talk about right now what your game plan is for all your females you plan on breeding this coming year? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go from shutting off food again from a certain point? Can we talk about what your plan is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try the same thing I did this year. I kind of like getting these early clutches. Usually this might have been the earliest I've ever had them, ever had babies hatch. I like that. So, I mean, it kind of gives me time to see, okay, this is where I'm at right now. You know, how many other things do I want to try to get in the works? Because obviously chondros are going to be the #1 priority every year. So if I can get, enough to keep me entertained and busy with just them, then there's really no reason to, really even do anything else. Yeah. So I will try it again. What I may do is maybe try females a little bit sooner. I feel like I've maybe missed the window with some of them, because I have two girls or 3 girls that are plenty big enough, plenty old enough, and they just I've paired males with them, the same 2 males at around the same time, and male that would immediately lock with the 2 female, with one of the females that laid eggs, would go to the other cage and nothing. So, and then like that, remember the snake that we pulled out that was, I don't know I can't remember if she made it on the vlog or not, but yellow baby, adult female, sibling to most of these other ones. But, the last time I had her out, I hadn't had her out in a while. And when we took her out, I was like, damn, man, she's kind of gone green again. And the last time I had taken her out, she had gone really, really blue. And that's when I tried pairing her up, and still nothing happened. So I don't know if, maybe next time. I haven't given up on her. She's one of the ones I may throw a male in there one more time just for shits and giggles, see what happens.
Are you talking about this girl, or am I tripping?
No, not that one.
Okay.
No, not that one.
All right, I wasn't too sure.
That's the mom. That's the mom of clutch number 2 right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful snake.
So are
thanks.
Are you trying to say, if you can, you'd like to keep it seasonal around where it's at right now for you? Like, if you could make all the girls go around that time, if not sooner, that's ideal for you, is what you're saying?
I mean, for the situation right now, yes. A year from now, or whatever, who knows? But yeah, I mean, just with all the other snakes that I have and all the other species that I have, because if I strike out on chondros, I'm going harder ball pythons. Just I got to, I got to have enough stuff to keep myself busy, entertained. Board marshal,
not a good marshal.
Bad. No,
board marshal is fucking. Is there such a thing as a board marshal? I don't know.
No, there can't.
The chondro gods will really mess with you, though. You know that. You know that it's going to be feast or famine. You've experienced the famine, and one of these years you're going to experience the feast. And it sounds like the number of babies you have to work with now is for your schedules is going to be about perfect.
I'm happy for you.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right. And if they were spaced out more, then, that would be good. Maybe you certainly wouldn't want, 40 babies at one time, but if you got 25 now and 25 for 3 or 4 months from now, maybe it'd be a different story, having them kind of spaced out a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll definitely stop feeding them again for the summer. I saw positive results from that. Just, not only in the getting the clutches and getting, 2 large clutches, but also having them be more active, moving around a lot more, that can't hurt.
All right. Listen, I want to get to Bill about this topic, but before we do, guys, quick break. Be right back. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida.
What is up, everybody? Blake here, the owner of Blake's Exotic Feeders. We have all quail available at all times, produced here at my ranch from button day old, from Coturnic day old, all the way to extra large Coturnic quail. If you guys have any questions, DM on Instagram. Appreciate the support, you guys. Make sure you guys hit me up. We have all the quail, like I mentioned, and everything is shipped right here from my house.
If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep and, more importantly, fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. #1 quality in quail, hands down. And I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. Give me a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. Let him know that the Trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the Trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor. It's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Chee! Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available green tree python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the Trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. All right, so Bill, I want to ask you now on this topic, and obviously I'm going to want Marshall's take, because we had a lot of guests going into this year from last year talk about mice being like the primary prey item for their adult chondros or even chondros in general. How do you feel about the diet program that you've had, Bill? Like, do you feel like what you're doing works? Do you think like you're going to maybe try something different with certain females? I'm curious where your head's at when it comes to the food cycling and food for your chondros overall.
I've pretty much gone to a rotation of mice, rats, and ASFs for my females. My males are almost exclusively just mice. But I think a varied diet is good, really, in all of them. I tend to go more towards mice when after I've paired and I want to offer smaller meals more frequently. So I've gone to, after I've had females that have paired multiple times, and I'm reintroducing food, then I tend to use mice. Maybe even like a jumbo mouse a week. But other than that, my mainstay diet during the summer or when I'm not fasting for my adult females are small rats.
Fuck you too, Marshall.
Marshall, you had the break, and then I think he may have gone to bed.
Yeah. He's like, I don't see a check for any of these sponsors. I'm out of here.
I hope he decides to join us because he does have some valid points and input. So I hope he comes back.
You still with us, Marshall? You good, bro?
Yeah, you guys got glitchy on me all of a sudden, so I rebooted.
It's gotta be the Android. We sound okay? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Good. A little bit of a lag, buddy. Your other phone didn't have that. Might want to consider.
I think it's.
Yeah, what's going on?
I think it's my Wi-Fi. Let me try to turn it off.
Oh my God, it's the
See if that helps.
Dude, what? Is this the first fucking season of All on the Tree Tuesday? Did we not already solve this? Don't connect your Wi-Fi, pal. Come back, okay? We're gonna miss you. Come back, dude.
I just can't believe Wi-Fi is less consistent than whatever the hell he's using when he turns his Wi-Fi off. I don't know. I don't get that.
Don't you remember the beginning days of this? Like his lag, and he's like, "It's not my Wi-Fi." I'm like, "Bro, turn your Wi-Fi off. Let's see what happens." And then it fixed everything. Let's see what happens now. He looks perfect now. Watch. Look at him.
There he is. Now he's back.
Perfect. How do we sound, buddy?
Sound perfect.
There we go. Now we're 20 minutes in, and we got the audio and the video. All right.
I've been using the Wi-Fi for the last 6 months on the show.
Anyways, listen, pal.
Yeah.
I love you, Marshall. Hey, I gotta ask you though. Okay, obviously, with you doing the fasting that you did last year, Marshall, which was new for you, did you change anything with the size prey items, or was it just back to normal, like small rats, or what were you feeding your females that went for you?
No, I matter of fact, both of them. I think maybe one had one meal before she went. Before I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but they didn't get very many meals, if any. I threw the male in there while they were still fasting, so I threw the male in almost or around the same time that I started feeding them, and then they immediately, both of them, were almost like the first pair the second pair was a one and done, and the first pair Versace, kept locking her, but I mean she laid they laid a day apart. So they didn't get very many meals in them, and these you saw them, they were both pretty good sized snakes.
They look good. Yeah, they look really good, but they didn't look too big at all. Like they look perfect. Like they look like literally the perfect size.
Well, you got to remember that the one had just laid 27 eggs a month ago. So I mean,
she didn't look bad at all, though. Like she didn't look like it.
I know. I'm just saying, but like that gives you an idea of how big a snake she normally would be. I mean, I weighed her right after she laid the clutch, and she was 800-ish grams. So that was after laying the 24 eggs or 27 eggs, whatever she laid. So
her normal size is 1,000 grams,
at least
1,000 grams, 1,200.
Yeah. Marshall, I was going to say, I remember your girls being bigger last time I was at your house. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at different girls, but just overall, your females were a lot bigger last time I was at your house.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean,
hold on. Marshall, that one meal that you gave your snakes was a rat. What'd you give them?
Probably just a mouse.
A jumbo mouse? What size are we talking here?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I feed. I mean, my mice that I produce here are pretty small.
Wow.
They don't get to be, like big, like jumbo mice size that you get from, some of the rodent producers. They're a real small strain. I'm not sure where they originated from, but it's not great for if you want to feed jumbo mice, but I really get them for the pinkies, and they have the little teeny tiniest pinkies, and then so you can get them on fuzzies quicker because the fuzzies are smaller. So they're just a smaller strain of mice than, I think what most people are used to seeing. So if I'm feeding them a mouse to an adult, it's always in a jumbo or a fully mature adult. And then since then I have swapped in, like it just depends on what I have and versus what I need. If I've got a bunch of ball python babies that are within their first 5 meals, I always start them off on mice. So if I've got, my ARS 75 rack full of 75 ball python babies and I don't have enough mice, I'll feed the ball pythons the mice first, and then I'll give like rat crawlers or wean rats, nothing bigger than a small ever, and that would only be to the two, to the bigger snakes.
What about getting these girls back on, trying to get size back on? Are you feeding them rats or are you feeding them mice?
I've mixed it up, mainly mice though. I did give them a couple of weaned rats. Was the biggest.
How long do you like to wait, Marshall, before you offer a meal after they lay?
I soak them, and I'll leave them soaking overnight just to kind of wash them off, and then put them back in, clean their cage real good, put them back in the cage, and it's like the first night I see them hunting, I try to feed them. Yeah. Sometimes that's the next night, sometimes it's a week, sometimes 2 weeks.
Yeah, usually they get on pretty quick. They're usually hungry, and again, that's a really, I think, a nice tool to artificially incubate those eggs, because those females they're gonna get back on food faster.
Yeah, and I always tend to err on the side of small after after they've not eaten in 3 months or 4 months. Hell, these were like 6 months by the time from when I stopped feeding them to when they they laid eggs. Maybe they had one meal in there, but I didn't want to give them a big rat or something like that and then have them puke it up. So I just kind of went on the small side.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I think I'm going to be having a lot less rats fucking being fed in most of my collection after a lot of stuff I've learned recently, just with, like for instance, I forgot who I had on. Me and Emilio had somebody on, and somebody who's been around in the ball python game a while, but he's just really good at getting a male up to size quicker, like than the usual. Like we're talking like 3-4 months getting these fucking ball pythons to breed at like 600 grams. And I'm like, how the hell do you do 100 grams a month? But apparently mice, like they don't feed rats. They're feed, like, to get them to grow, they're feeding them mice, not rats. They're just feeding they're feeding mice like every 5 days, like more frequent, and I think like going to rats quicker is almost something that keeps them from growing, in a sense. And I don't know if it's because the meals are so big or what that is, but I don't know, man. I feel like if I could do less rats, why not?
Some of the females that I have, when I offer them a jumbo mouse, it's literally one bite. They literally just gone. Like, and then you can't even tell it's had a meal, and they're still, they'll hunt regardless of what you feed them. But to me, and MJ and Marshall, you both have seen my females. I've got some good sized females.
You got some big bitches, though. I was very impressive. They're big for sure.
Pretty good size. I wouldn't, Ryan would call them obese. I don't think they're obese. They're just big. I have other girls that are small, and they do better with smaller ASFs or the jumbo mice. But I've got some girls here. You feed them a mouse, and they just look at you like, "What the fuck was that?"
What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, So I don't know. I think you just have to know your animal. You have to just figure that out. And I think all of those things that we've talked about are viable and good food sources. And you just have to know how often to feed them. And just, if they're digesting the meal properly and they're having good shits. And, I had one girl several years ago that if I fed her a rat, when she dumped, there was partially undigested material, in the feces.
Wow. You would see like a claw or something, or what?
Just like fur, like almost like fur, and it just wasn't, you could just tell it wasn't properly digested. And so I gave her mice, and sometimes I'd give her, two mice, at a time, and she just digested mice better. But the majority of the females that I have, the mature females, they digest, rats fine. And I, knock on wood, I've never had an adult prolapse. So I think there's lots of different ways to skin the cat, and as long as you're not overfeeding them, then I think any of those food sources that we've discussed are appropriate.
I'm having a hard time because I already wanted this whole mice transition thing, but like I'm just so used to feeding rats, and it's like it's something I don't even think about. By the time my food week gets here, my rats are already here, and so I just feed. But I'm just wondering, how much easier life could be with less rats. But then mice, I don't know. I guess the whole idea of getting more mice, motherfuckers could get out quicker. I don't know. Sounds scary.
I still think ASFs,
I love ASFs. I wish I'm in Cali, so ASFs is a risky business for me, but if I could have any fucking rodent, it's an ASF for sure, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, I've been happy since I've started incorporating ASFs into the diet rotation.
You're giving them to your chondros too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't give them to ball pythons, but Alex has started to breed ASFs. So I have an ASF source now. And so, yeah, definitely I'm using them in neos and adult females primarily.
Bill, how do you feel about Alex Warren?
Alex is my boy, man. I tell you what,
where's he at, dude?
I've talked about Alex enough on these shows, how he's just, man, he's just my backbone. This summer I'm traveling I'll be gone for the longest time I've ever been gone. I'm going to be gone 18 days in the middle of the summer. And if I didn't have Alex here, man, that trip wouldn't happen. No doubt about it. So that's how I feel about Alex.
Shout out to Alex. I love that guy. I got to ask you, as far as how you feel overall, Bill, with I don't know, like the ongoing seasons. Like, do you feel like you're gonna want to stick at this clutch, number 7? Like, do you feel like 7's a happy medium for you, or if you could hit the 10s, are you looking for that? What's a peak year looking like for you, Bill?
This 6 clutches, that year that I had 60 babies seemed about perfect. But I think the future plans is to get Alex even more involved. I think eventually he will transition and, become a full-time chondro keeper breeder, like myself. And when he makes that transition, then I think, then we can just increase production more.
You can just go on permanent vacation.
That's the plan, my brother. That's the plan eventually. So Mark Hager says 18-day party at my place. Mark has a key to my place. He knows how to get in here, and he of course has full access to this place anytime.
So that's how he knows your collection better than you. He just fucking probably goes to your house when you're not even home.
I hope he does. He can point some shit out, that I'm missing.
Marshall, I got to ask you, with this, taste of what you are in for right now, would you obviously want to capitalize on more if you can next year? Are you looking to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, man. I mean, this is new for the last couple of years, but I've produced. I think the most I've produced was 54 one year. So, I mean, the higher numbers are not anything I hadn't done before. Haven't done them with the rest of the collection being what it is. So that would be a challenge now. But like I said, chondros are always be number one priority. So if I can get those, I would trade a chondro clutch for anything else.
Are you telling me you're down to have a wait list someday?
I'm not saying that, but
let's not go getting crazy.
Oh my God. So what's gonna be your approach though? I'm sure I know people are fucking just gouging at the screen. Like, tell us how you're gonna release these babies. Okay, obviously we have to get there, which is more important. But like, okay, when are you even considering even looking at a baby, Marshall, and be like, all right, I'll post this one up for sale, or like, how's that even gonna work for you?
Man, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it.
Stay tuned.
I don't have plans to sell any of them anytime soon.
Last time we spoke, Marshall, you said you were going to let every one of these go through their color change before you even
Yeah, 2
consider
years.
letting one
You're gonna
go.
wait 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's two,
Yeah, I mean, especially with only having 25,
Only
that's
having 25.
that's doable. I mean, I've got plenty of rack space for that.
People are punching the air right now. This is awesome. Because, dude, I mean, think about it. You waited this long to see these kind of numbers. Like, it's not like you're in this for the money, and everyone already knows that. So
Yeah.
where's the rush? Really, there's really no rush for you at all.
Nah, I mean, having all these babies is the fun part. Watching them change. I mean, you know, having babies, once you get them feeding, and you can, you know, feed a rack of 30 in literally 5 minutes. Once you have thawed out rodents, man, like the maintenance is just a breeze. I mean, you know, you just got to get over the hump of getting them established, and, you know, taking care of 25 chondro babies is like nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Once they're established.
Yeah, once they're established, man, you go in there. Now you'll have to deal with a prolapse or have to deal with, you know, something. But as far as feeding them goes, you blow through a rack of 25, you can feed them literally feed them in 5 minutes. So for me, you know, I would rather keep them. You know, haven't had this big of a sample size since I've started like really tracking things on. And I say tracking things, for me, it's like with hashtags on Instagram, where I can, like, you know, okay, this baby, I can go back and look at its baby picture and look at its OCC now. So I can see, okay, you know, from this pairing, these babies that look like this, if there's even any rhyme or reason to it. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to find, you know, 2 snakes that end up looking real similar as adults, maybe look like nothing like each other as babies, or vice versa. So it'll be fun to track all that. You know, I will probably let a few go, just because there's some people that, you know, have been asking about them for so long. But
I wonder who those people are. Jeez, fuck, dude. Oh, how many years?
And also it's a great opportunity to get, you know, to do trades too. Like we've said a couple of times, you know, I'm more motivated by that than
it's like this. You say trade?
I've been hit up. Mark Hager's already pulling out the stops, man. He wants
those yellows, doesn't he?
Every yellow, bro. He wants every yellow for sure. He'll do whatever it takes. God bless him.
I got a wicked calico red Neo from Mark in trade for 2 yellow Neos. So.
Yeah, I found out I have a sibling to that snake. I'm so stoked, because that was that's one of my favorite snakes. I saw at your pad last time I was there, Bill.
Yeah.
And then that yellow neonate that Mark sent me that wasn't eating, like it was just assist fed most of its life, and then turned the corner once I offered quail and all that. It's a sibling to that snake. And Mark told me today, I couldn't believe it. I was so floored. And when we were talking, me and Mark were talking, because that yellow was now it's just now starting to change after fucking, I don't know, it's over 2 years old now. I mean,
yeah.
But I was really stoked to hear that came from.
That's cool.
Yeah,
really, mine's completely changed now. It's a female and it looks badass. So super stoked.
That's a female?
Yeah, it's a female. Yeah. My first calico in my collection. I've got another one now from Buddy that's a Neo. The one from Mark was my first, you know, calico animal, and it looks great.
Are any of your guys' ratio like hurting one way or the other? Like, is there one thing that you could use, like male or female wise, either one of you guys?
Not me, not really.
Yeah, same. I think I'm pretty even right now, or close to it. I maybe have 1 or 2 more females than males, and you know, that's a newer thing for me. Back in the day, or all these years, I've been, you know, just utilizing Versace as much as possible. I had a 1 to 3, 1 to 2 ratio, males to females. But right now, I think I'm about, maybe not half and half, but, you know, 60-40 maybe.
I'm pretty close to the same. I'm probably 40% male, 60% female in my adults. And so, yeah, I was 2 years ago, my holdbacks ended up being pretty male heavy. So I sold 3 or 4 of them, you know, as 2-year-olds. But I'm happy with the adult ratio that I have now. That's 60-40.
Nice. And then Marshall, I mean, you don't pro, right, Marshall? Like when it comes to sexing your chondros, you just wait to see what the shed tells you. What do you prefer?
Yeah, no. I mean, if I don't have to probe them and they're not going anywhere, I haven't probed them. I just, once they're about a year old, you can kind of start trying to identify, maybe not a year, that's probably too soon. A year and a half, you can start usually identifying males. And, a female, you can identify. I don't, with a female, it's normally not one shed and I say, oh yeah, definitely female and write it, check the box that it's a female. If it's a male, you can do that. You see the hemipene shed and you immediately know. But a female, what ends up happening is, I'll start looking, because some sheds, the cloaca, it just sheds and there's a hole there. You don't get anything. But other times, if there's something, I'll write on the label on their tub, I'll put the female, female or female sign and just put a check next to it. And then the next shed, if there's no hemipenes, I'll put a check. And then the next shed, there's no hemipenes, I'll put a check. So, I'll know after 10 sheds, haven't seen hemipenes, it's probably a female. And that's how I've sexed, almost every snake that's in the room now, because I haven't sold any in so long. Just sexed them strictly by sheds.
Yeah.
But, when I was selling stuff, I probed them all the time. Not babies, obviously, but, in the 50 to 70, the old rule of thumb used to be a year old or 50 grams, or a year old and 50 gram minimum. So 50 is probably a little smaller than I'd be comfortable with now, but, you can probe them once they get a little size on them and pretty accurately.
Yeah.
Now, guys, should a female cost more than a male? Does that sound accurate? Or normally if it's potent, it's like the same price? Like, how's that work for you guys?
That's a great question. I think a lot of it depends on the genetics and the phenotype of the animal. I mean, I would, if you put two animals side by side and they're both crazy, I'll take the male over the female. If they have a crazy phenotype. Females, I don't really care as much about the phenotype as I do the genetics of the animal. So, again, I think it depends on a couple different factors for me.
What about you, Marshall?
Yeah, same. I mean, the thought being you have a sick male, somebody would be, you can spread them around more, right?
Yep.
But
and he's less likely to die, and he gets to maturity quicker.
Right.
A lot of reasons to have that really powerful, potent male.
And I'll say too, it seems like that, and I think there's been a couple people that we've had on the show kind of just say this also, is that there doesn't seem to be as many like super banger females as there are males. Like all the ones that are, super extreme phenotype, the majority of them are males. I don't know how much, what percentage, but it seems like there's not a ton of females that really have the, if it's a 10, that you're after, most 10s are going to be males.
Yeah, I would agree at least in my experience for that to be the point for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something to be said for having nice females too, though, right?
Well, because there's not as many of them out there. I mean, there are not a lot of crazy looking adult females out there. There's certainly more males, I think, just in what I've produced and what I've seen from other people. And in fact, once they get through that color change and I see an animal that's, 12 or 14 months old and it looks crazy, it's almost, I probe it, it's almost always male.
Should we break Mark Hager's heart real quick? I mean, it wasn't me who did it, but, okay, remember that crazy looking Aru, right? That was going around, and I told you guys, I was the first one to tell you guys, pretty sure this is coming into the country, and we're talking about it, right? That crazy Aru.
You have a picture of it that you can show?
I do, and I'll pull it up, but I'm trying to, because if I pull it up, I want to show what it was in 2018 before what it turned into, and I think that's fucking wild, okay? Because remember, Gary
Is
said
is that confirmed? Is that
I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
I want to ask. I want to talk to you guys about it and see what the deal is with that. This is going to take me a while to scroll and get this information, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
So you have a picture of that animal when it was a baby?
No, Gary,
no.
was it Gary? Gary posted a picture to the chat that supposedly was the same male that had been in captivity since, or I don't know, I say male, I don't know what sex it is. It was the same snake
Here it
that
is.
has
I
been
found it. I
in
fucked up.
captivity since 2018.
Okay, so hold on. Hold the phone. Mark Hager, hold the phone, buddy. Okay. So, well, hold on. Let's well, first and foremost, let's show what it looks like. Apparently,
Yeah, show what it looks like now. Those are the pictures that got everybody excited.
yeah, this is what got Mark Hager really excited right now. So this is the picture Mark is referring. Oop, hold on, let me open. I'm sorry. There it is. All right. So here's the picture. Pure Aru over there in Indo.
Mark thinks it looks pied too. I think it might be pied.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. I mean, I think too, it's insane looking snake, but apparently this is what it looked like a few years ago.
No, this is what it looked like. Oh yeah, this is what it looks like now.
That's what it looks like now, which doesn't really make sense to me because Gary's saying this is what it looks like. That's what it looked like prior to it changing. He's saying that's the same snake.
Right. Which
I don't know how that happens.
that seems I don't know. I mean, Gary's usually knows what the hell he's talking about, but man, like
if it was anybody else but Gary, I'd say no freaking way.
No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, that animal looks bigger.
But look at the eyes. The eyes are similar, but I mean that's a pretty common trait with Arus is the silver eyes. One thing you can tell, and you couldn't see it in the picture that you pulled up, but in one of the 3 pictures that were posted of the snake as it being yellow, it's got a pink tongue. So my first thought when I first saw it was, man, I wonder if it's albino. But I just don't see how it would mature. Because if it's wild caught and it's as big as what's the green snake that's on the guy's arm, I mean, that's a big snake for a wild caught snake.
No telling exactly what color. I mean, I'm sorry, what size this snake really is with this picture. I feel like I don't know.
It's true. There's nothing in there for scale.
I don't know, but that's just like where the fuck is the green ever at? Like it looks like it went from yellow to that white to that black.
Yeah, I don't.
Look, that red. What the fuck? Where'd the red come from?
If it was, I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna.
That's the only green you see right there.
I'm not going to second guess Gary, but man, that's very surprising to me that's the same snake.
I think Gary's doing some fucking weird broker shit on us, and he's just trying to manipulate the situation, and maybe trying to steer us from even thinking about wanting this snake. And then
he's getting it, or he's trying to get it.
That's exactly what I fucking think right now. And then he knew exactly how much the snake sold for. Remember, he was like, "It's sold already for $9,000." Remember, he already knew all this information.
Gary knows everything. He knows everybody.
Are you sure about that? Because I don't know how the fuck this snake was green, Marshall.
I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree with you. That seems very unlikely to me.
The other snake looks bigger and older than that snake. So you're telling me that is the after, and the snake was green before? To me,
if anything, it would be the other way around.
The other way around.
I would understand that.
Me too.
I just want to know who the fuck bought it. If he knows the amount, he knows who bought it. But anyways, I guess time will tell. But okay, overall though, do you think this could be a mutation? This could be a morph?
If it's the same snake as the green one, I'm going to say no.
Not. No, obviously, but let's just say it's not, which I don't know. How the fuck does a snake, even with neglect and never seeing the sun, whatever, what are you fucking feeding it bleach? Like, how does it turn to that? That's crazy. And this is exciting stuff, obviously, because this is like everyone's looking to see a pied and a chondro someday. Like this is like the bee's knees, I feel like, for any fucking goddamn chondro project. But yeah, that's amazing. Aru, man, you know, I love BX, but holy shit, Aru could be like the true king locality. because that's fucking crazy to me. I really think it's crazy.
It's nice looking, no doubt.
Patrick thinks it's a calico, but I haven't seen a calico that looks like that.
Nah, not with the white like that. I don't think.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong, Patrick. Sorry.
Patrick's overruled.
Patrick is never wrong in his world. Well, guess what? This episode pretty much peaked, and I don't feel like we should talk about what's happening with me right now. So, I'm good. I had a great time. How do you guys feel?
Well, why don't we talk about you? You know,
I don't want to fuck because Steve Doss already ruined the mood for me on Facebook. I just happily posted my Gravid Emerald just for fucking, here's an enjoyment picture. And what does he comment? We should trade babies. What fucking baby, Steve? God damn it.
Putting the jinx on you, man. He's putting the Marshall jinx on you.
And I would understand if he had babies, but he doesn't even have babies. What is he talking about? Oh my God, you don't do that, dude. I don't know. Listen, I got stuff locking. Things look good. I will say my Bill Stiegel designer mail is fucking going to Pound Town. That makes me excited. I really think one thing, and listen, Patrick, fucking the guy's a genius. I will say this because we talked about how a lot of his BX like to go in the springtime, and I'm seeing that from all my pure BX. Everything is eating super psychotically right now, and they're getting locked, which is good. So I do know I have girls that have laid for me before, like in late April, May is like they look really good. So we'll see. I'm just happy I finally got some designer shit that is getting locked up, nice. Especially from you, Bill. I guess the only thing I have that looks, I guess, somewhat promising, other than the Gravid Emerald, is my white lip python refused food, and she's basically right on track from when she laid last year. Okay. So if I get the white lip python and the emerald in this year, I guess I could tank on the chondros, but fuck that. I'm not going to tank on the chondros. I feel good. I just need those eggs. Give me good eggs, guys. That's all I need. Just give me good eggs. It's fucking over. And then then we could talk about my incubation methods. That's all I want to do. But day by day, listen, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm strapped up, ready for any kind of roller coaster dip or fucking one of those goddamn things that throw you upside down. Whatever, dude. Bring it on. No, I'm just kidding. Chondro guys, that was a joke. That was a joke. I don't want nothing. I did that last time, and then my emerald died. So I got to be careful, man. They're listening. They're always listening.
They're always listening. Good things will happen if you stay pessimistic. I promise.
Yeah. Wait. Remind me what that means again.
Pessimistic means you think bad things are going to happen. Like
yes. I'm definitely on that Marshall Mendez tip for sure. Jaded as fuck. And it's nothing personal, guys out there, but I just been through a lot. We've been through a lot. Okay. God bless. But listen, I'm having a good time. I got to say, these Tuesdays always make me happy. It's always fun learning with you boys. I'm really glad we got to do a roundtable and kind of really, and most of all, Marshall, I'm so glad, because I think this whole time of having All in the Tree Tuesdays, you kind of like when it came down to you and your like recent production, you were kind of dragging your knuckles. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have much happening for a couple years, and then now you're back in action and I know things are only going to go up from here. I really do.
No, yeah, hope you're right. I think that's all just part of how it goes, man. When you move facilities, and the room my new room being so different from the old room, and taking a couple seasons to get things dialed in. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, things take time for sure. I'll never underestimate moving a collection ever again. Like I already knew it was kind of like, whew, but the whole like 1 to 2 year break from getting any kind of breeding done, that's a real fucking thing. Because for sure it took me about 2 years to walk into this room and be happy on how everything is.
I told you the best decision I made was the year that I moved and I didn't pair or breed a single chondro.
Yeah.
Best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of bad ones.
And it's not over yet.
Nope.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Anything you want to close off with, Marshall or Bill? Anything, any topic, anything off the top of your guys' head?
Man, just another shout out for the weekend, man. I had a great time. Glad you made it. Enjoyed seeing everybody at the show. Enjoyed getting to know Krista, your Sunday night host. She was really cool, really sharp girl. Yeah, I mean, it was great, great time all around.
What do you got to say, Bill?
Are we all going to Tinley in October?
Yes, 100%.
I'm going. I know Gary's going. Marshall, are you going?
I don't know yet. Potentially, maybe. I mean, I for sure want to go to Trap Fest. For sure want to go to Arlington for your party. So I gotta see what's happening. Maybe I would like to, but it's too early for me to say. I'll have to decide.
Right.
As time gets closer. Hopefully, yes.
We got to decide. We got to decide Daytona or Bob's show in August because I can't do both. There's no way.
I'm not doing Daytona again. I'll tell you that. I enjoyed it.
Marshall's passing on Daytona.
I mean, it's so hard to get to for me.
I'm coming from Cali. What do you mean?
Listen, if I had my druthers, I would do what you guys just did over Daytona.
Go to Bob's.
Yeah, go.
So we'll go to Marshall. Go to Marshall's, Justin's, and Bob's.
Yes.
All right, we can do that.
That's pretty nice, man. I mean, the show's not going to be anything like Daytona, obviously, but it was more. The show for me was more about the people and hanging out than necessarily the animals. But I will say, by the August show, if I have chondros established, maybe I'll vend.
That would be hard. Damn, that would be sick.
Just put a bunch of stuff on the table, not for sale, for display only.
Yes.
There you go.
My God.
Because there was zero. There was no. I don't think I saw one chondro at the show. Yeah.
Zero. And I thought about that too.
I'll say, Marshall, once the time comes, I have a feeling you will have a change of heart about packing up those chondros and bringing them to a show with all risk and no reward.
But dude, he's cut from that cloth. That's what he did back in the day.
No, he had them for sale back in the day.
Oh, true. Damn. Well, you know what? Ask Levance, ask Marshall. That's what he's gonna fucking put on all the Neos. If you really want a fucking snake, you better come correct. All right, don't waste his time. That's it. I'm rooting for you, Marshall. I hope to see that table there. That way I could, set up behind and do a podcast and really get in your way. I would love to do that.
Perfect.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
See Marshall at work.
All right, we're putting this on the calendar, August. We're fucking doing it. So it's my birthday weekend, so it's going down. But looking forward to next Tuesday. Were you gonna say, Bill? Sorry.
I was gonna say Atlanta's an easy flight for everybody. It's so yeah, I'm down.
Cool. I'm down for next Tuesday. It's going down for now. Make sure you go follow Red Mountain Herbs and also go to my YouTube channel, the Trap Reptile Vlogs, and watch Marshall's round 2, the do-over vlog, and also on Morph Market too. I put stuff out on Morph Market that Marshall hooked up with as far as content. So go to Morph Market's YouTube channel as well and check it out. Bill, can you please go watch the vlog I did at Marshall's when you can tonight? Maybe.
I promise tomorrow.
Thank you.
I promise.
And of course, if you're not already, the Mayor Phoenix Reptiles, subscribe to his subscription on IG if you really want to get shout outs and top shelf information. Nowhere else better. Shout out to the Mayor. Appreciate you guys both. Give it up. It's a wrap for Bill Stiegel, Marshall Mendez, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a good night, boys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, fellas. Have a good night. Catch you next week. Peace. And I appreciate everyone who tapped in. If you enjoyed this episode and you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Organically growing this channel. Appreciate all the love and support. Of course, if you're looking for exclusive content, you want to get invited to private events such as Trap Fest, meet people like Marshall Mendez, go join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Do that by clicking the first link in the description below. Connect to the Discord, connect to the Instagram group chat, and it is popping. Some of the best keepers in the game, hands down, for sure. Thank you so much, all my Patreon members. You guys are my heart. 7 days a week. Of course, if you don't know, Trap Talk Reptile Network is 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Don't miss any of these episodes that you can catch every day. All right? Shout out to all my other hosts, killing it in the game. That's fact. All right? What a great night. But before I let you guys go, you know the deal. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida.
What is up, everybody? Blake here, the owner of Blake's Exotic Feeders. We have all quail available at all times, produced here at my ranch from button day old, from Conturnix day old, all the way to extra large Conturnix quail. If you guys have any questions, DM on Instagram. Appreciate the support, you guys. Make sure you guys hit me up. We have all the quail like I mentioned, and everything is shipped right here from my house.
If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep and more importantly fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. #1 quality in quail, hands down, and I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. It'll give me a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. Let him know that the trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, it's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Choo! Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available green tree python wise and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles.